Okay, I'm with my friend Connie. Connie is a local artist and a original farm girl here in Milford, Michigan area, and she's actually related to the Buno family. She's a Buno of Buno Road fame, which is in our region. So she goes way back, many generations. Her family does, and she has a grandmother in her late 90s that still knows about a lot of old traditional farm recipes. And one of the recipes, one of the things Connie started doing in addition to her artwork was she was interested in making products from tallow, from beef tallow.
Yeah.
And what I learned was that lard is pork and tallow is from beef.
Yep.
And the reason why a lot of us don't know about this, give you a quick history, that tallow was a common practice for a lot of uses in the kitchen, in the food industry, until Procter and Gamble in the early 1900s, along with the American Heart Association, basically did a massive media campaign to use things like cottonseed, byproducts of the agricultural industry, cottonseed oil, and nowadays we have safflower oil, a lot of hydrogenated polyunsaturated oils, and this was passed off as a cheap, shelf-stable alternative that was erroneously passed off as a healthy alternative to saturated animal fats, such as butter, tallow, things like that. What we've seen, though, has been largely untrue. It's led to more heart disease, high cholesterol, things like that. So tallow and butter are healthy for you, absolutely. And what Connie did is she produced a whole array of products. Every time she'd make a new product out of my beef tallow and she'd bring me a sample, I'd say, hey, could you make this? Like I asked, could you make shaving cream and hand repair? So Connie, why don't you show us some of these products you're making.
So originally I had contacted Ray and asked if he ever, if you ever did your tallow for selling it to people, and I was interested in making pies and other products. So that's how we got this started. I wanted to use your tallow, which I'm going to be doing.
In pie crust.
Thank you.
That's her fault, by the way.
So the baking, and so then we got started on making the tallow, and the more I researched and the more things that I was learning about, I thought, wow, that would be great to use in beauty products, personal care products, in your cooking. I have a lot of friends who have issues with their skin conditions, especially from wearing masks, things like that. They've had mask rash on their face. We've been seeing a lot of students having issues with dry skin, different things we've been seeing, and even my son.
From the disinfectants.
Yeah, and from just mask wearing, things like that. So. Yep. I thought it would be interesting to see while I was rendering down the tallow to start making some different products. So we'll just go through the products that I've made with your using your tallow and using the suet from your beef cattle that I've rendered down into tallow. It is about a 4-hour process to render down the suet into tallow. And once it's in liquid form, for cooking and ease of cooking, I've made it into these 2-ounce rounds, and that is 1 pint, and so that would be 8 ounces in 1 pint jar. I find that it's easier than filling up the jar with tallow, and so that when you're cooking with it, you can just cut a chunk off of there, put it back in the jar. Also, we did these gems that I thought were really handy and useful if you wanted to use them for toast or butter, or if you're just using pats of butter for cooking vegetables, whatever you want to use it for, eggs in the morning. It's just a handier way of using the tallow that way in your cooking. And then also, and it's got a great flavor, it's really healthy for you. It has a lot of anti-inflammatory properties, it has lots of vitamins, and we use the suet, so that is the healthiest fat in the animal, and it also renders the nicest tallow. So you can see this really nice white color of the tallow. You can tell that it's been properly cared for, animal, grass-fed. That's fantastic. Also, these rendered bars, these are, I'll show you the other ones.
Mainly cut from the kidney area, this
Yes.
tallow. That's where it's harvested from.
And that the suet surrounds the organs, and so that is where it gets all of the vitamins too. So if you were to cut down, if you were cutting fat off of brisket or something like that, it would be a lesser fat if you were rendering it down than what the suet is and what we're using here. So these bars, I like to use these. These are just rendered down tallow, and these would be eased in baking and measurement. So this is 8 ounces. These are 4-ounce bars.
Show this up close here.
Yep. So these are nice to use too. If you were going to be doing baking or something like that where you needed more. So I've enjoyed using those in my own cooking and baking. And while we have it on our hands, we'll start over here with the beauty products or personal care. I originally thought of making these tallow hand lotion because we were talking about it and how you use a lot of natural care products and how beneficial in my research and just in using it and baking in it and in the process of rendering down the tallow, I'm like, wow, this is fantastic for your hands. So the more I read about it, the more I saw such benefits for it. Cow skin is closest related to our skin of all the animals. So it is most easily absorbed into our skin. So
really?
Yep.
I didn't know that at all. Wow.
Yep. So right here we have whipped body butter, and this is tallow that's been whipped, and then essential oils are added. And I always use the food grade essential oils, so that if you want to use this as on your lips, if you want to put it on your face, it's not going to be giving you something, whereas some of the essential oils are only for diffusing or only for making candles. So you'd need to be careful with that if you're going to be making tallow and adding essential oils, even for personal care items. You want to make sure you are using edible essential oils in it, so that whatever you're putting on your skin is not going to be toxic towards you. Even if it's essential oil, if it tells you not to eat it, then you want to make sure you're not putting it on your skin also. So and it's an important thing.
Yeah, and a lot of your care products, toiletry type products, have a lot of toxicity, like deodorant's one of them,
right.
Things like that.
So
toothpaste, all that stuff.
Right. So this is completely 100% natural. It's whipped tallow with essential oil added. It does have like a smooth paste to it, and you just rub it into your skin, and in about, I don't know, maybe a minute, it completely changes the makeup of your skin. It softens your skin, and then it just completely disappears as if you had never put anything on. So we'll put this on, and maybe we'll show our hands in a few minutes. And show how it's running. Now Ray, he's been putting it, I know, on his face, and you can absolutely do that. This body butter you can put on any part of your body. I know I really like it for my neck area as I'm getting older. My feet have been great on it. I'm using it on my hands, my elbows. I have olive skin, so I sometimes have darkened elbows. So that's been really helping lighten my elbows up for us ladies in the summertime that have darker skin. That sometimes can be. And then also, I was amazed at how in the winter time, because I do teach school, my hands are always chapped from washing my hands so much during my work day. And my hands were quite cracked when I started using this, and within like 3 days, they were completely healed. And I've been using this every day, and now my hands are not cracked or chapped. And that's something that I've dealt with for years of my life in the winter in Michigan. So now I plan on never having cracked hands again for wintertime, which is fantastic. So that's been a great benefit to me. I know you've been liking it on your face, and where else have you been using this? Like as personal care product for hands?
Can't say every place I've been using it, but no, hands, face, and on my lips. Yeah. I mean, she's got. The hand repair is what I've been using. It's more of a man's hand repair because it's gritty.
Right. So here's what we'll talk about that now. This is the hand repair, and it's brown because it is made from when I'm rendering down the tallow, the suet into tallow. A lot of the material that connects the fat together, it's almost like an elastic, clear material. It expands and contracts, but when you render it down, it floats to the top because it's not the fat. The fat renders down, turns to oil, and then you're left with the top float And I found that when we put this in the Cuisinart and rendered, added the air to it, it became really a fantastic, with the most oil, I feel like, and the most collagen type material that is available within these products. So there's only so many jars of this per pound that you render, because it's not something that I can reproduce. It's just something that has formed naturally in the animal itself, and it's fantastic. This I call hand repair, because this is what I first started using on my red knuckles, and it was just amazing to me how much it helped my skin within a few days. So this is the hand repair. I think it would be great for anyone working outside with their hands, men and women included. And I have so many friends who are electricians and journeymen, and I have friends who are welders and plumbers and all kind of farmers and things where cement workers. So I think that would be really beneficial. And what's more manly than Angus beef lotion? So I really want to encourage, I'm gonna try to give out free samples to some of my friends who are really hardworking and need it for their hands, because you guys are hard workers. Well, all my friends are hard workers, but I also, just as a person and just as a female hard worker, I am an avid gardener. I run outside year round in Michigan. I am always got my hands in the dirt in my garden, and I'm always washing my hands at school. So I really thought it was a great product for all around helping your hands. And now you've been using it on your hands. How do you feel like your hands are they feeling better in the last few weeks that you've been using it? Do you feel like
because my hands usually crack and split and things like that.
So you're getting less cracking?
Yeah, especially this time of year when it's wet out and my gloves get wet and saturated, and then your hands start weathering really bad, because I'm outdoors about 100% of the time.
Right.
So then, as Connie's been doing this, I keep saying, well, can you make this? Can you try this? Can you try that?
Yeah.
And tell us about your shaving cream.
So this shaving cream is new to me this week. Ray said, hey, what do you think about making some shaving cream? I really don't like to use things with chemicals in it. And I've been using some other products from shaving. And so I said, well, we can see. So I made this recipe up, and it has lanolin in it, and it has tallow, and it has a little bit of soap, but it's not very much. So we put that in, and then we added some rosemary and some olive oil, different types of things that are good for your skin, but will give you a nice clean shave. And so this one is actually honey almond oil with the rosemary olive oil.
And this works far better than shaving cream. So I don't use shaving cream. Most of these products you buy for your personal care products, you don't need to buy. You just, they in the early 1900s became byproducts that the food industry marketed, said you needed. You don't need shaving cream. I don't use shaving cream. You don't need toothpaste. I don't use toothpaste. And I've never had a cavity. And I don't use deodorant.
But you do brush your teeth with baking soda.
I do brush my teeth, and I'll maybe use hydrogen peroxide and baking soda in the place of deodorant. So that's her next thing we're going to try to get her to make.
Yes, and actually there are some recipes out there for tallow deodorant.
Yeah, because commercial deodorant, it talk about endocrine disruptors. Woo, focus.
It has a lot of aluminum in it, which is cancer causing. Yeah. So, that is a concern too.
And this stuff works better. It's not healthier.
How did your face feel after you shaved?
Super smooth. I've never had as smooth of a shave as when I've used this.
Yeah, so that's good.
I've also, before that, been using shea butter. Mm-hmm. But boy, being the tallow lanolin combination, it's made for your face. Like you said, I didn't know that about beef skin, cattle skin, and
yes, it is the most closest represented to our skin. If you were going to have a skin graft, they're doing cow skin grafts now.
Okay.
Different things like that. They're finding that it is closest. So when you put this material on, it absorbs into your skin very well, because it is made from almost the same makeup as a human skin.
Okay.
So it's very easily absorbed into our skin because it's coming from the same
kind of
material.
Okay.
So we'll go on to the lip balm now. So the lip balm I made with using raw honey and tallow, and that's it. And just a different way of processing it. And you go ahead and emulsify the honey and the liquid tallow, and then you pour it into the tins, and you can add your essential oils, whatever flavors you like. We have 6 or 7 different flavors that we're going to be making, and then it goes right into the freezer. And so that is how it gets this shiny consistency. Without the honey, it would be a little bit hard to smooth on. So the honey adds a little bit of shine, and honey's so great for you anyways, but that's how you get the more of a clear look to the lip balm rather than the opaque in the hand lotion and body butter. And you can use, like I said, that's for your whole body.
Showing up close here of that.
And those are half-ounce tins, and in making this and researching it, I found that a lot of the tins, and especially the plastic tins for lip balm that are out there for you to buy, for wholesale, are made in China. And so I am really trying to offer all of my products with made in the United States products. So these lip balm tins are made in the US. And so are the jars. I'm going to be sticking with the ball jars and cur jars because they are all produced in the United States. And I think that's really an important thing, to try to keep my products without plastic and made in the United States. So that's an important thing to me. And then you were saying to me, well, how about leather cleaner?
Oh, yeah.
And so...
How about that? Leather conditioner or well, because I had some neat's foot oil.
Right.
And I had an old bridle I was going to put leather on. And, an old saddle guy told me years ago, use neat's foot oil, 100% pure, but a lot of times they cut it with mineral spirits and it ruins your stitching.
Right.
On your boots, things like that, gloves. Yeah.
Right, and it rots them out.
Rots them out, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And so maybe, too, that's a better way to sell more boots and sell more saddles, things like that, if they're cutting it,
Yeah,
with all that other stuff. But this leather conditioner, it is with beef tallow, pig lard, and then beeswax chips, and then lanolin from the wool of the sheep, and this from the sebaceous gland from the wool. So it's a mixture of those, and again, it's emulsified together in a liquid form, and then it's cooled.
Okay.
And frozen.
Yeah.
So it's a quick. That way, when it's freezing, it doesn't separate. So
Okay.
That's why the lip balm and the leather conditioner are put right into the freezer. As soon as they're mixed and into the container, they go right into the freezer, so they don't have time to separate, because there are 4 different things in there: the beeswax, the lard, the tallow, and the lanolin.
So, what Kai's doing is she's using old-time traditions and management to keep things so that they don't separate or shelf stable, but it's very normal, easily, readily available ingredients, where a lot of your other oils and products that you buy that are, that you use to shave with or add to your food are shelf stable because they go through processes of, using hexane and all sorts of types of chemicals to help minimize rancidity, and they come to you heavily oxidized, and you're putting those oxidized chemicals in your body, which cause a lot of free radicals, cancer causing things like that. So this is just very traditional, old-time process that we've been brainwashed not to use anymore.
Right.
Know about.
And like originally when I did ask you, inquired about your tallow, and if you ever offered it, or if the processor made it from your suet, it was a new thing that I was going to learn about. But I've always made lard pies with my grandma, so I'm going to be offering lard pies. But we're going to be doing tallow pies this summer at the farmer's market, and using, from when I learned when I was 10 years old, the recipes.
Yeah.
And the tallow has made a great pie crust. I really am happy with it. It's fantastic. And it's really, I think it's been a really fun thing to learn about, and how to make all of these things And I think it's a great product. I also use the body butter and the hand repair. I kind of every other day switch it up at an evening time. So I put that on before I go to sleep, and then wake up and, you know, trying to keep young looking, keep my wrinkles to a minimum, age with grace, you know. So I really I think it's really improved my skin. I do have acne issues. I had it for years and years, and it's really improved my skin over the last few weeks of using it. And a lot of people, when I'm telling them, well, I'm putting this, you know, tallow on my face, and they're like, well, some people are going to ask, well, how can you put this grease on your face and not break out?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And you don't.
But you don't. It just disappears almost.
Yeah, because a lot of the other creams have petroleum products in them.
Right, which clogs your pores.
Yeah. And it almost stings my hand when I put, like, if I ever put a hand cream on my hands, which I haven't for years, but if I'm in somebody else's...
Now you'll just use a hand repair, right?
Yeah. So that's an interesting observation.
Well, again, I think it's exciting, too, that you're, you know, when you're processing, raising your cows, having them processed, selling them to your customers and to your clients, it's neat to use as much of the animal as you can for the respect of the animal. And I think it's a great product. I really am excited for it. I don't think I've been this in love in a long time. But I mean, it really is really nice. And I'm excited to offer it to my friends and family and my customers.
So tell everybody, like, where we would, you know, how you market it, the name of your business, and what you do.
My business is The Art of the Garden. I am an artist, so I'll be selling my artwork. I'll be making homemade tallow pies this summer, fruit pies. And I will be doing the tallow products, the personal care items, at local farmers markets in Highland and in Milford on Saturdays and Thursdays. Right now we're in the middle of making my website to offer these for order. And because it does fall under the cottage industry, right now we're not able to ship. It has to be porch delivered. But I'm able to deliver locally and then sell in person at the farmers market. So that's where it will be offered on my website through purchase, and then local deliveries will be offered. So they may be changing that soon because of so much of COVID and so many people that had to stay home. They're kind of maybe going to change that. So if that does change, then shipping would be available.
Okay. All right, well,
so I'm excited for it.
We're going to wrap it up. Thanks for your time, Connie.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I'm real excited about this. We call it value-added product from our beef.
Yeah.
Always trying to maximize the use on a beef carcass. So.
Yeah, and I'm excited to be offering your Angus beef in my tallow products and in my pies. It's locally raised. Yeah. You know.
We're gonna I'm gonna keep coming up with new things that.
Well, next is the soap. We're going to try my hand at some lye. I need to get a good pair of safety goggles and some rubber gloves.
Interesting process. But I appreciate you tackling this. And
my pleasure. It's been fun.
All right. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.